What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Paddock, and today we're going to talk about the basic 12-bar blues progression. A progression is just a musical term that describes the way that chords move. Every song ever written has a chord progression, from Taylor Swift to Bach. Some of them are just more difficult than others, but every single song has a chord progression. The blues progression has tons and tons of different variations to it, but today we are just going to learn the most basic 12-bar blues progression. And because you'll end up playing this 12-bar blues progression in several different keys, we're going to learn it using numbers instead of notes or instead of letters. If you don't already understand chords or how to improvise, I would strongly suggest taking a look at the two videos I did pertaining to these two subjects. I'll put a link of them in the description below. But if you already understand what chords are and how to improvise, this video is going to be way easier. If you don't, I'm going to explain everything as I go along, but I'm not going really in depth in how to read chords and that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's dive in. The 12-bar blues progression is made up of 3 4-bar phrases. There are 3 4-bar phrases, and it only has 3 different chords in it. It has your 1 chord, your 4 chord, and your 5 chord, and these are all dominant 7th chords. Now what that means is the 1 chord is the chord that is based on the 1st degree of your major scale. We are going to be talking in the key of concert B flat, so for alto players that would be G, and for tenor players that would be C. So your 1 chord would be the first note of your G scale. It'd be based on that. So it'd be your G chord. Your 4 chord would be based on the 4th note of your G scale, and that'd be your C chord. And your 5 chord would be based on the 5th note of your G scale, and that would be your D chord. So all of the chords in the blues progression are also dominant 7th chords. So what that means is it's the major chord with a flat 7th. So for your 1 chord, that would be G7. So that'd be G, B, D, and F natural. For your 4 chord, that'd be C7. So that'd be C, E, G, and B flat. And for your 5 chord, that would be D, F sharp, A, and C. Your first 4-bar phrase is super easy. It is just your 1-7 chord for 4 measures. We are going to chord outline this, meaning we're going to play quarter notes, 1, 3, 5, flat 7. So I just played a G7 chord 4 times ascending. So as you can hear, doing it ascending 4 times in a row does not sound that good, and that's not the way any bass player would ever play it. So when we're doing chord outline solos, I like to make it sound more like a bass line than chords. So I would go up for the first measure, down for the second measure, up for the third measure, down for the 4th measure. So I'd go G, B, D, F. Then I'd go up to the G, and I'd go G, F, D, B. Then we'd be on the 3rd measure, G, B, D, F. The 4th measure, G, F, D, B. Now we don't play that root because we're going to change to the next chord. So this is what it would sound like if we do the chord outlines going up and down for our first 4-bar phrase, which is all G7, which is our 1-7. Now, our next 4-bar phrase, which would be bars 5 through 9, would be your 4-7 for 2 measures, and then your 1-7 for 2 measures. So that'd be 4-7, 4-7, 1-7, 1-7. And in the key of G, that would be C7, C7, G7, G7. So let's chord outline that again. Now, since we have 2 of the same chord back to back, we're going to go up for one and down for the next. So it'll be C, E, G, B flat, and then C, B flat, G, E, and then we switch to G. G, B, D, F, and then down G, F, D, B. Here it is, the 4-7, 4-7, 1-7, 1-7. So those are your first 8 measures. Let's put them all together. So we have the 1-7 for 4 bars, the 4-7 for 2 bars, and then back to the 1-7 for 2 bars. Here's what it sounds like. Now, did you hear when I went to that 4-7, I went to the C7 chord, you could really hear that chord change. That's the whole idea, is to be able to hear those chord changes by doing the chord outlines. Okay, now on to our last 4 measures. We have a 5-7, a 4-7, and a 1-7 for 2 measures. So it goes 5-7, 4-7, 1-7, 1-7. Your 5-7 would be D7, which would be D, F sharp, A, C. And then to your 4-7, which we've already played, which is C, E, G, B flat. And then to your 1-7 for 2 measures, which would be G, B, D, F. And then coming down, it would be G, F, D, B. Let's take a listen to it. Let's take a listen to all 12 measures together. 1, 2, ready, go. And that is your basic 12-bar blues in the key of concert B flat, in the key of G for us alto players. All right, so we learned this using numbers so that it would be very easy to switch keys. So now we're going to do this in a different key. We're going to do this in the key of C for the alto saxophone, which would be E flat concert, or F for the tenor players. So we have our 1-7. In the key of C, our 1 is C. So we have a C7 chord for 4 measures. Then we go to our 4-7 for 2 measures in the key of C. That would be F7. So that'd be F, A, C, and E flat. And then back to our C7. Then we go to our 5-7, which in the key of C would be G7. Then our 4-7, which we've already discussed, is F7. And then, of course, back to our 1-7 in the key of C is C7. So that's G7, F7, C7. Take a listen. So that is your blues progression in the key of C on the alto saxophone or E flat concert. Let's listen to the whole thing. 1, 2, ready, go. Now, if you wanted to transpose this chord progression into any other key, you just pick the key and you plug in the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord, and they're all dominant 7th chords, so they're major chords with a flat 7. And that's it. That's your basic 12-bar blues progression. It's pretty simple when you think about it. It's 3 4-bar phrases, and you only use 3 chords, your 1-7, your 4-7, and your 5-7. All of those are dominant chords, dominant 7th chords, so you can plug in whatever key you are in into that blues progression. Thanks for taking the time to check out this video. I hope you found it useful and that you now understand what the blues progression is and that you're able to play it. If you can, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and share with your friends. Thanks a lot.